This boring, bland wall needed an update, and I wanted to incorporate this year's newest trend, hexagons. I wanted to start with a blank slate, and white paint is about as blank as you can get. So I painted the whole wall white. I needed to make a hexagon template. I began with a 12 by 12 inch piece of paper. I found the center and used a compass to make a circle. I then folded the paper in half to make sure that my circle was 6 inches from the middle to the top of the circle. Beginning at the top of the circle, I measured 6 inches to the left and drew a line. I continued to measure 6 inches around the circle until I had a hexagon shape. I placed my laser level in the center of my hexagon template. Then I found the center of my freshly painted wall and attached the level and the hexagon template to begin my project. I decided I wanted to make hexagons out of wood, so using 1 by 2 inch pine, I set my miter saw at 30 degrees and made my first cut. I made a jig to help me speed along my cuts. My jig was just a piece of scrap wood that I attached to the saw to the left to line up my pieces of pine to help me cut them faster. It was finally time to put the wall together. Using the hexagon template and 2 levels, I attached the wood to the wall using an air nailer. Once the first hexagon was in place, I used the laser level to make sure the wood was attached correctly. Honestly, the most difficult part of making this wall was making sure that everything was level and fit together. Some of my cuts weren't perfect, and finding pieces that fit together were like putting together a giant puzzle. To fill the spaces that weren't cut perfectly, I mixed white glue and sawdust together and filled those gaps. When they were dry, I sanded it smooth. To add some color, I chose 4 different paint samples. I used the paint chips to lay out my color plan on the wall. I wanted it to look like confetti falling. Each hexagon that would be painted was taped with painter's tape. For the lightest color, I poured white paint into a jar and then added a small amount of the dark paint, mixing until I had the perfect color. For the medium shade, I started with the dark color and adding just a little bit of white until I had the perfect color. The wall was definitely worth all the hard work. I hope this inspires you to be inspired by a design trend that you love.